Hi everyone, welcome to this CG Cookie concept live stream. We do these every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Time, and we usually post the topic now a week in advance. So next week, you can see in the bottom right corner, we have a guest artist. Sean Price will be here showing us some traditional tips and advice. But today, we have my roommate and friend, Tyler Johnson.
Hello.
He is known online as Sketch Geek, so you can find him as @SketchGeek. And today he's going to show his kind of guide to how he draws caricatures. And we thought, what better than to have me and Joe be the subject matter. And then if we have time, he's going to do a celebrity one. So he's got a lot to say, I'm sure.
And I'll figure something out.
If any of you are interested in doing caricatures, it's definitely a good exercise in exaggerating your shapes more and seeing how important shape language is to the viewer and understanding what type of character this is supposed to be. And Tyler's really good at over-exaggerating forms and shapes. And I am very curious to see what he does because I've never been caricatured ever. And I can't wait to see what my fat head looks like as a drawing.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm sure. Yeah, we'll have lots of fun. All right. So.
Am I good?
Yep.
All right. Let's see.
So I'm going to move the mic to the middle. And I'm going to switch the main camera on so you can see what he's doing.
All right. How does that look?
Okay, so pretty much what we're going to be doing is he's going to be drawing me for the first half hour-ish, and then he's going to switch to drawing Joe. And during both of them, he's going to show his process and kind of show you step by step what he's doing. He's going to explain the tools that he's working with and any tips along the way. So I'm going to sit here. I have the comments in front of me, so if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask them to Tyler. And then our question of the day, if you guys are curious about maybe knowing or wanting to know what me, Tyler, or Joe think of what happened at E3 these past few days, my question of the day was, what was the biggest thing for you the past this E3? And to answer it first, Tyler, what was the biggest thing at E3 for you?
I barely watched much of it, but I mean, I like the look of the new Zelda game, personally.
I agree.
I like the, yeah, I don't know. It just looked different. I haven't played an actual Zelda game, but I always liked how they looked, and I've always liked the idea behind them, but I've never actually gotten to play one.
I like that they carried over Wind Waker's style, too, because that's my favorite.
It's like a weird mix between, Wind Waker and
Skyward Sword.
Was it Skyward Sword?
The new one, yeah.
Oh, Twilight Princess.
No, that one was gritty. All right, so Tyler's going to go ahead and get started, and if you want to start by sharing what tools you're working with.
All right, so first of all, what I'm working on is basically just a piece of masonite board for sturdiness, basically a portable table. Under that, usually I just have a piece of foam, little foam pad. That helps mostly to soften the paper, and especially for coloring, because without it, the way the colors that I use, they'll pick up a lot of that paper texture that I don't like. So the foam actually softens it so it smooths it out. Paper, basically just printer paper. Nothing really special there. I have a clip, and then as far as markers and markers, I use the chart packs, and I use the chisel tips. They do also have them in fine point, but I draw a lot slower with fine point because the ink doesn't come out as well versus the chisel tips. And then colors, which I'll get into later after I actually draw him, are called Prismacolor art sticks. They're basically just colored pencils, but they're shaped in cubes or rectangles. And I'll show you how I use them when we get to it. But first, all right, you ready, Tim? I think that's.
I'm ready. They say we're a little quiet, so we might have to talk a little louder than we normally do.
God, I have to yell.
Yeah.
Jesus.
If it's a little quiet, it's not in your guys' end. We have the microphone sitting in between us, so that's why it's a little quiet.
It's kind of hard to pick up.
I know how much you love being loud. So really enforce it today.
All right. Hopefully I won't throw my voice out halfway through. All right.
Carry it up.
Is it up?
There you go. There you go. All right.
Everybody see it?
Yeah.
All right. So look at Tim's face. All right. So when I start off, it's kind of tough to teach people how to see exaggeration, but a lot of it boils down to the relative size between the different parts of the face. So as far as kind of basically going over, you have the head of the shape, or the shape of the head. You have the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Just kind of, those are 5 shapes that you kind of aim for. So you need to figure out what the relative, where to increase size, where to decrease size. The way I like to think about exaggeration is, if I take a mold of Tim's head and I were to like push and pull the clay, the mass would stay the same, but the shapes would be, so if I increase the nose, that mass has to come from somewhere else.
Oh. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, so you kind of have to, at least for me, like I like to think of it as, if I'm designing a character, I don't know, for, like all of Disney characters are basically in that vein. That's where most of my, I guess, inspiration comes from, or at least did way back when. So like I tried to think about the head, for the most part, in 3-dimensional space in that way. So when I'm starting to like kind of map out how I want to view his head, I kind of think about like really basic shapes. So I don't know if you can see it.
I really want to watch.
Is it really light? Or
It's a little far away. If you could get closer. Yeah.
That? Is that
hold
good?
that.
Just hold it right there. Oh, my leg. All right. So shapes that I know, you're going to have to look up.
Oh, you know what? Let me, just in case it's a bit blurry. Or, yeah. There we go.
Okay.
All right. I know I don't watch it so bad, but
you can watch
I can watch it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the shapes that kind of stand out immediately to me is his hair, of course, the curliness of it. There's a lot of cool shapes there. Actually, his nose and his eyes can just and the cheeks a little bit. But let's see. So as far as shape, he actually kind of it's squarer than you think, Tim. Like your jawline.
I know. I was joking. My head is just a circle.
It's only when you smile, I think, is when it rounds out.
Yeah.
Because your cheeks get pushed out. All right. So I'm kind of gonna really just put where I want those shapes to be, to kind of just get an idea.
Oh, be careful of this down.
Oh.
There you go.
So there's his curly hair, just to kind of basic.
I'm gonna
So this is really like getting really sketchy with it. Like, I'm not trying to think about a final drawing yet. I'm just trying to get an idea of where I think I want to put all of the features in his face. Let's see, smile real quick.
I have the worst smile.
When you're being prompted.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me smiling? Oh God, am I gonna have to hold this?
No, just don't smile unnaturally. Just ew. Stop it. Is anybody talking on the?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Everyone says hi.
Hello. I'm going to play with those cheeks a little bit.
As you should.
Play with the nose a little bit more. Because you do have like this nice kind of square nose. Let's see. Put the eyes. They're kind of sunk in, but they're still not too bad. Too like far apart or anything. Let's see, eyebrows. They kind of do this weird arcing business.
I know. I like the evil eyebrows where they're like.
Exactly.
It's actually really good because I can't see the sketch that well. Just because I have it so small.
Yeah.
You can just see like a general green shape. It already looks pretty good.
Good.
So I think I know what direction you're going in.
Some basic guidelines when exaggerating the face. The main one I want to get around is like the nose relative to the eyes. A lot of times when they have a longer face, say, if the nose comes down a lot longer, the eyes are going to be generally closer in together. And the opposite rings true. If it's a bigger or it's a wider nose, the eyes will be spread apart. Kind of like a pulley system, really. If you push the eyes out, the nose will come up. If you push them in, the nose will go down. Or the bottom of the nose.
Oh, they say to get closer.
Ugh.
Yeah, like that. Oh,
It hurts my leg so much. All right. Figure this out. All right. So let's see. So that's starting to look like him.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Smell again real quick. Yeah.
Yay.
All right, you can stop.
All right, please.
Please stop. All right.
If you want, I can move the camera in more so that you can put your leg down.
Oh, that's true. Here, I can. Well, I guess
I got you.
I'll let you do it.
I got you.
Is that better?
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
Cool.
There we go.
You got these ears.
Oh, this is wonderful. Okay, you have a question from Christy. It says, has anyone ever been offended by what you exaggerate? I would love to draw caricatures, but it's that feeling that I might offend someone that kind of stops me.
Oh, man. All right, this is like the number one question.
Yep.
Yes, of course. It's going to happen regardless. That's kind of like your, what's that, rite of passage?
Yeah.
Is to get like your first rejection or your first angry customer. Like I've had people swear at me. It's like when the first time it happens, the first few times it's scary because like you don't want to like intentionally offend somebody.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's just hilarious to you because you kind of get numb to it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know,
I'd say a good thing.
Because you kind of have to separate like yourself from a lot of the.
I moved it too far down. Well, yeah, because then if you're offended by every single person that doesn't like their sketch, then you'll never have a good caricature sketch.
Yeah, like it's one of those things you just can't be afraid of drawing, like certain things.
Yeah.
And if it's gonna happen regardless when you draw caricatures, because like people have their own concept of what they look like, their own delusion. Yeah.
That's
but
so sad.
it's yeah. And then you have your perception of what people look like, and I mean the more years you do it, you kind of start to develop like an eye for it in your own interpretation of people. You get, but yeah, it's just gonna happen. Like, computer doesn't overheat.
It's like do it, and then the first time it happens, expect it.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, that's not that bad, you know.
The weird thing is like a lot of like most people don't know good from bad. Like
That's true too.
like almost at least 50% of the time, people aren't artists, so they just kind of see somebody drawing something that they can't do, so like they're like impressed by it no matter what. And then you have some people who have very high, I guess, views of themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So are you ready to do the inking part?
I am ready for the inking part. So
Okay, explain what you did with the paper.
yeah, so most of the time when I'm doing like events or when I was working at like theme parks and zoos, like this is like taboo and forbidden. Under sketching is what it's called. But for the sake of the stream and because like I don't have to worry about that anymore and I don't have to worry about timing, I like to draw a little bit underneath. But just to kind of give the idea of like what's going on in my head, because this is actually a lot farther than I usually would go if I undersketched. Usually I would just put where the eyes would go, where the nose would go, and all that. Really basic shapes. It should take about 10 seconds to get your first idea down.
Okay.
This one a little bit farther because I don't know how much you can actually see. But also,
Pretty good.
Okay. But yeah, so sorry, throat's starting to cut up. But yeah, so originally, like, either I don't do this at all, especially at like events when I'm just trying to like get through a bunch of people, because like it's pretty much nonstop drawing.
Yeah.
And or if they have a really interesting face that I want to play with, I'll like draw like really basic shapes. So then when I put the paper on top, you probably can't see on the stream.
It's like hinted very.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm looking for is like, I don't want to see, like you want to see kind of what's underneath, but you also, at least for me, like I don't want to be restricted to my previous drawing. I want to have, I guess that, I want to kind of get it on the spot sometimes. Or what's the word?
Like your intuition?
It kind of, yeah. It's like, if something like feels better when you're doing it, like when you feel like you have to do it on the spot.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of quickly come up with it. So that's kind of what I want. I want a faint guideline, and then I can kind of make it up while I do it. So for the chart packs, for these chisel tips, they're a little bit harder to work with. As far as like if you're not used to, if you're only used to like fine point tools. The thing I like about these is like I can get really thick lines really easily and really thin lines really easily. I don't know if you can see any of that.
Oh yeah, you can see that.
Can I see that?
Yeah.
All right. So see how like the variation I really like.
Yeah.
That's why I like these, and the ink usually comes out really nicely with these. This one's kind of drying up, but it should be fine. They're a little bit trickier because you have to be conscious of the tips fraying. They fray really easily if you're not careful. So you get these weird like double lines and all this other stuff. What I usually use, or how I usually do it, is I like to keep the point up, and I usually try to draw it down. In most cases, or if I draw, you always kind of draw again or kind of with your arc or the way you're drawing or the direction. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, like the natural flow.
Yeah, so like you don't want to go into the point. That'll actually fray it really easily. But if you always go like the opposite to the point, you'll at least not ruin the marker. All right.
I'm excited for this.
All right.
You're about 20 minutes in.
Sweet. All right. Let's see. Usually I want to start with a good anchor point on the face. For me, it's usually either the nose or the chin for some reason. Other people like to start with the actual size of the face or the entire like jawline of the face.
Yeah.
I usually do like it's all muscle memory now of how I draw, but sometimes what you want to do is, you know how like when you're golfing you take practice swings? That's kind of how I'm drawing, is like I'll get the shape down without putting the marker on the paper, and then once you feel confident in that, you just put it in. And it's kind of how you go all the way through for the most part. Let's see. Some nose action. So now it's like the concentration part where I have to like look at what I'm doing. That'll be the kind of under nose. Let's see. Put the nostril. then there's the end of the nose. Since I want to get that, he has a very squareness to the bulb. Yeah, I personally really like that shape on people's faces or people's
Square noses.
Yeah, for some reason it's just interesting to me. Because then you have like just fat noses, which is boring. They're just round. But like you add angles into anything, it's so much more interesting.
Like an Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Nose.
It's especially Owen Wilson.
Then you get that.
I guess both the Wilson brothers, they have like such weird noses. But it's okay because that's who they are. All right.
Someone says, "Oh, and I'll ask you things while you're working."
Okay.
So
good.
Don't break your concentration. Black markers are impossible to erase.
True, not false.
And they're saying about how someone says they scare me.
The black markers?
So I guess how did you get over that fear of working with markers?
Oh, that is the toughest when you first start out because you can't erase it. It's when every stroke is final.
Yep.
That's the tough thing. But kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about the practice swings. If you can build up enough confidence, that'll help a lot. And then once you start after like doing it for so long, you start developing like your movement. That's just how you work. And then it's just going back to muscle memory.
Yeah.
It's just you have to just kind of like work through it. And just when you first start out, like you want to like sketch like a lot, like you do with pencil, like you don't often do like full strokes with them, but it's really tough. But you kind of just have to fight through it.
Keep going.
All right, good.
Yeah, he's got a lot of compliments saying that people like your confidence with your brush strokes.
Well, thank you.
Oh, and to those that are joining the stream late, we have Tyler Johnson, also known as Sketch Geek, doing caricatures today and showing his tips and advice on how to do it. Especially if some of you out there are curious about possibly getting a job in caricatures.
How many? Well, I assume like a lot of your viewers are kind of high school level or high schoolers, maybe early college.
Yeah.
If there is a place close by, like a theme park or like a zoo, usually has them too. Place that has characters, I would suggest at least trying it, because it is it is really interesting environment. I don't know about there's a lot of good character artists who make a career out of it, and like as far as like my own personal drawings, like I've learned so much about exaggeration and cartooning from doing this, especially since it's on the spot and you don't have a whole lot of time to think about it. So I would suggest at least experimenting with it a little bit.
Everyone's saying they're older than early college.
Oh, never mind then.
I kind of think, when I started doing the streams, I think the age range was around 18, but since I've been doing them for 4 years.
Oh, yeah, I guess they grew up with you.
They grew up, yeah.
Well, even then, like now it's a good summer job if you need it.
It is a good summer job. That's where Tyler started. I assume that was your first caricature gig.
Yeah, I started at Six Flags,
Great
America, Chicago. Well, Chicago, quote unquote.
Chicago area.
Yeah. Chicagoland.
A little more accurate. No, I'm one of those people that I just really like watching. I gotta stop doing that. I can see it later.
Can always watch later. It is your stream.
So a general question was, did you get paid? Did you get paid hourly at Six Flags, or did you get tips?
It was tough because we didn't get tips because that was just the park policy is no tips. I mean, I understand it. It's a loss prevention issue.
Yeah.
So they can't really allow it. but it also kind of sucks because like there's so many tips I had to like deny. But the company that I worked for, what they did was either hourly or commission. So you have a commission flat rate, and then your hourly rate. So at the end of the week, whichever is more, that's how much you get paid. So it kind of pushes you to want to sell more. So if you sell more, you make more. But you at least have an hourly wage to kind of fall back on.
That's the cheek I was looking for.
Let's see. Another tip as far as line weights go. I generally put thicker lines. I kind of try to shade with the marker. So I'll put thicker lines where more shadow actually would fall, and then thinner lines where the light would be hitting closer to. So that's why it's like a thinner line for the lip, the upper lip, thick lines for like the chin and the jawline, and then so on. Let's see.
We have a question from James. Says, when going for a style in caricatures, do you reference certain artists, or is this style based off your observation from countless hours of drawing from life?
Countless hours.
A
little bit. True, honestly, it's a little bit of both, because like there's certain characters that you see that you're like, I really like that shape, but then not a lot of times does that shape come along. But when it does, you're like, I can use that shape. Like a couple cartoons that I watch, like Edda and Eddie, or I don't know, even newer shows like Gravity Falls and stuff like that. A lot of times they have really interesting drawings, and you can sometimes use those drawings in your own work to kind of experiment and kind of see, kind of develop. Because I think like that's how you develop your own style, is by experimenting with other styles.
Yeah. We're at half hour in.
Goody.
There are a lot of curls to draw. Hope you're prepared.
Actually,
sorry, I'll keep looking forward for this part.
No, you're fine.
Huh. 64-bit Dragon says those are some sexy lines. I'll lower it just a tad. Can't see it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, perfect. Or a little, you're right. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see.
They like your hair.
Is it your hair?
The way you did mine.
Okay. It's like, how do they
like
see
fire.
It's like fire. Wait until you watch Joe's hair.
Can't wait for Joe's. What would you say is the average time for you to spend on one of these?
Normally about 5 minutes. Usually tops. That's what we aim for anyways.
No color though.
No color, 2 to 5.
Oh, it's 5 minutes with color? Oh, dang.
Yeah, usually. Because like when you're doing it on like live, well, in normal situations,
I guess you're not talking.
You're not talking, first of all. And the color you generally try to do is very simple. Like, I'll kind of show with this one actually. Simple coloring. Do some of those. Gotta age you a little bit.
Age me so I don't look 19. Yeah.
Or 5 or 12
5.
or
like I'm just entering high school. Oh, this is so funny. Oh, this is great.
Alright, smile again.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
They say it's magical.
Magical. I guess that's one word for it. I think that's about it. And the color. And some buttons.
Okay,
And
so
well done.
question is from Eve. I reckon I'm not the only one wondering, but Tyler, can one commission you to do caricatures of oneself?
Yes. Yeah, you just have to email me, contact me, and then I'll give you a quote. Yeah.
And what's the email, Tyler?
It's you can find it on my website at sketchgeek.com. It's tylerjanimator@gmail.com. Yeah.
Oh, and I guess people are asking about donations, but we currently don't have a donation button, and I don't think we will add one for these CG Cookie live streams. There's something in the air, but as of right now, we do not have a donation button. But thank you. That was perfect timing, right? Thank you, Bing.
All right, so that is all of the marker work I'm gonna do. All right, now it's time for color.
Wow, I'm so happy with how this looks. I didn't know what I would look like caricatured, but this is pretty great.
You look 14, just like you are. All right. So, to kind of give a quick overview of the colors that I'm using.
Oh yeah, wait. When you do that, I want to take a picture of
sure.
black and white.
Gotcha.
Yeah, tell them what colors you're using.
All right. So, the colors I'm using are called Prismacolor Color Art Sticks with an X because they're so cool. So what? Yeah, like I said before, they're basically colored pencils, but they're shaped like rectangular cubes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let me get another one. So it's more like this. With these, so what you'll do is you want to draw or color with the corners of them. So you kind of get this nice kind of gradient. I probably won't go too far into it just because it's a lot harder to teach without actually, having somebody here. But this is why I have the this foam board or this foam pad, is because it gives that nice smooth look to it. Otherwise, I guess I can grab one of these. Otherwise, it would come out more. There we go. You kind of get all of the. This is not a smooth surface at all, but that's what I mean. You'll catch all of these really like ugly.
Oh yeah.
It won't be like smooth, and that's why. I even use it sometimes. Oh boy. Ooh. Is it okay? Kind of hit it. I got you. Got me.
Or actually, you're good.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, that's what you use these foam board or foam pads for.
Oh wait, no, it is high. There we go.
Awesome. All right. Before I always clean them. Which is pretty much just doing that.
Oh, it's top louder.
Oh. So before I usually draw, you clean them by doing stuff like this underneath or on a different sheet. Just because, like, I have them all kind of packaged together. So a lot of times the colors will rub off onto each other. So let's see. I will need a peach, a goldenrod, a pink.
Yeah, they said put a lot of. It needs some serious rosy cheeks.
Yeah. I think I'll put some light blue for your subtle 5 o'clock shadow.
Why? Thank you for
very
noticing
subtle.
that. Very subtle.
It's very
feature.
subtle. Hey, you got it. I'm gonna draw it.
They're complimenting your use of the foam board underneath. They never thought of using foam to add smoothness.
Yeah, like it's really like I didn't know it until I started working. I was like, I didn't even know these existed. But you can even use them in other like actual drawings and stuff too. Like it's super nice to have.
Oh, I have
right.
another question.
Oh.
Tyler, do you need a permit to go out? I know I feel that every time I ask you because then you stop and I'm like, shoot, I don't want to stop you. But do you need a permit to go out and charge people for characters if you're not doing it in a theme park or zoo? Or is that typically only where you would do them?
You can like I've done them at bars. I've done them at like street events. It really depends on your city. Usually you can't solicit without a license or without a permit.
Oh yeah.
So you can't like sell them, but you can always work for tips for free, which is.
I guess that's good.
Okay. Didn't even adjust at all.
This is a little too low.
Better.
Move your thing a little down. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. So yeah, you need. It just depends on where you live. If you do them for tips, it's usually. You usually don't have a problem with them unless the establishment you're working on has a problem with it. But take that chance. Yeah. I was thinking about doing. We have like these Friday night festivals in this area that I'm gonna start trying to do them at. But yeah, I need to talk to whoever's in charge to kind of figure out if it's okay if I just do them.
Yeah.
I would like to charge for them, but whatever. But if tips are nice too, if you know how to work tips, which is usually you have a tip jar or something, and then you put a couple bucks in there to kind of make sure people understand that you do them for tips. All right.
Starting with the cheeks.
I'm starting with the cheeks. So what I'm gonna do is like layer on top of each other. So I'm starting with the pink, these glorious cheeks of his. So what I'm going to do is very lightly go over them because I don't want to get too dark, otherwise they'll kind of overshadow the skin tone. Put them in the ears, cheeks, the nose. Also here you kind of, like usually when I think of lighting, it's always coming from the top and...
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, here? Okay.
Yeah, you can see it.
So, I usually think of lighting coming from the top, front, and slightly to the side. So I don't know, I like these, adding like a slight rim light to it, just because it makes it a little bit more dynamic to me.
Adds a bit more dimension.
Yeah. Let's see, where else would there be? Let's put some pink in here. I will get a little bit darker with the pink, like towards like the shaded areas. I'll put a little bit on the lips, but not a whole lot. Just enough to discolor the skin tone, because I'm just gonna go over that with the peach as well. All right, so I guess I'll do this for the blue as well. I'm gonna do the same thing.
Everyone's saying it looks like Tim, even though it's exaggerated.
That's the aim. Is generally to capture that likeness.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it's not, like, at least when I try to think about it, I try to capture the person's personality along with their, like, the drawing of their face. Some people it's a lot easier because they have, like, such a outstanding personality.
Why, thank you.
I just know you. I've just known you for a few years, so.
Mine's so far.
Yours is
wishy-washy.
Yeah, you can do with a little bit
There's
more
room for improvement.
Yeah. All right. So now going with the peach. I'm gonna hit really dark areas first, and then lighten up. Kind of get this nice even gradient going. Yeah. Same with up here. I'm probably gonna go back in on top of this with like probably a sienna or some kind of brown to kind of darken those areas even more. Usually I just kind of put in the pink real quick and then just put in a quick layer of peach, but I'm gonna try a little bit harder on this guy, this mook. And then I'm gonna make a harder line on that rim light to kind of enforce that dynamic lighting. I'm gonna make sure that I go over the entire face with like a light coat at least, just to either blend it or to at least add some color to it. Add some hard light or hard shadow there. And then for the lips, I am just gonna do a really thick layer of the peach. And you want to drift those darker shades towards the thicker lines when you think about it. Except that's where the lighting is hitting, or the shading is.
Is it easier or harder for you to draw someone you know?
It kind of depends, because like I've drawn all of the roommates so far, except for I've drawn Gabe, but as a digital painting. Versus drawing other caricature artists, like that's a lot harder to me, because especially working with a bunch of caricature artists, they've all drawn each other. And I don't like it when everybody's kind of been drawn and they eventually kind of take on a character and everybody kind of draws them the same way. But I don't want that, because I don't want to be influenced by other people's ideas, I guess. It's my own thing. So I don't often draw other character artists I know, unless if it's at ISCA, where that is the point.
Yeah.
Oh, ISCA is it's International Society of Caricature Artists. It's this huge community of caricature artists all around the world. Every year they have a convention in some part of the country. Last year was in Ohio. The year before was in Florida, or Reno, and then Florida. I think they have it in, I'm not sure where it is this year, but it's basically just a room full of like 200 artists drawing each other for 4 days. It is probably one of the most fun conventions I've ever been to. And you see so many different styles, from like Japan, from Korea, from Germany, from all over the place. And it's just interesting to see so many different takes on caricatures. Alright, that's it for that. Might be a really, sorry if I'm in the way. Let's see.
Nice gray fabric clothing.
Yeah, you like that? Oh, man.
Got a nice variety of dark gray, light gray, 50 shades of gray.
Alright, so this is sienna. I'm just gonna do a light coat on the darker, much darker areas. But underneath the hair, the eyes.
Oh, so another question is, for caricature practice, do photos work as well as living reference?
If we get to it today, then I'll be doing a photo reference. But like I like, it's kind of hard because like it's nice seeing somebody live because you can get a good idea of what their personality is like and their character. But a photo reference, if it's like a star or a celebrity or a politician or somebody that's well known, they kind of take on a whole like character in themselves just from their fame, I think. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do them photos. They're not as fun because like either they don't give you enough like photo reference, or you feel very limited to what you can work with. My leg is numb. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
A little more. Yeah.
Okay. So then for his hair, I'm going to use a goldenrod. I'm going to do it really quickly. So for the hair, when I drew it, I tried to get a nice flow going, and I'm going to try to follow that as closely as I can with the color stick. But yeah, from photos, it's not, I don't feel it's as fun, but it's a good practice. Like, I mean, if that's your only way of doing it, it is a good practice.
Wonderful golden locks.
I'll go a lot faster on Joe's, I think.
Yeah, we're 50 minutes in.
Yeah.
I know it's that weird struggle of learning to talk and draw at the same time. I
Yeah.
still struggle with that where every now and then I'll catch myself not drawing for a while I'm answering a question. I'm like, Tim, no,
Yeah.
keep going.
It's kind of weird because I like to talk with my hands.
Yeah,
So,
so you're constantly picking
so
up.
like constantly.
How old were you when you started doing caricatures?
22 or 23. I did it like after college. And then I've been doing them for about 6 years or so. I've done them in Chicago, I've done them in Ohio, I've done them in Korea, just like all over the place. Did them in West Virginia.
Just a worldwide caricature artist, really. Just well known.
Just so well known. Everybody knows who I am. Everyone. All right. And then your deep blue eyes. So I'm just gonna do that really lightly. Probably add some texture to it.
Eve says, what Tyler loses on time when making hand movements while talking, he totally wins back with his speed. I do think you have to be a faster artist to do caricatures. Or at least a confident artist.
The weird thing is, like, one second. All right. Speed just comes with experience. Like, I was never fast. I was probably one of the slower artists.
Were you really?
At least at first. I got a lot faster since been doing them for so long. Because you kind of just start developing your process. And once you, even with digital painting and all this other stuff, like, once you have a process down, you're so much, it's just what you do. You just know what you're doing. But, like, for the longest time, I was pretty slow. And so I didn't like, make as many sales. as some other people. But that never really bothered me too much because I just like doing them. And so I never really thought about or cared about speed as much when I first started. So I just wanted to develop the art because it was like the weird thing about characters is like if anybody is an animation student, like the principles still apply. There's 12 principles of animation, and a lot of them apply to characters. I think that's just about done. Gonna add a little bit of shading under the eyeballs. So if Joe wants to kind of come down.
Like how crazy my hair looks.
What's your favorite color? Blue.
No, come on.
Oh.
Favorite color?
Yellow or gold?
Well, actually gold has become.
I mean, otherwise it's red, but.
Yeah, red. Red's been my
I guess
favorite
red will
color
work.
most time.
I usually try to use a cooler color to put in the background with like the warm tones.
Oh, yeah. Instead of this harsh, evil-looking red.
I know.
Just matches the
Man,
caricature that you did.
Yeah, you're just so evil. Alright. I think for Joe, I kind of want to do a profile. To kind of get a different view instead of just the same angle.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit easier. Or a little bit cooler. Because I already drew him one. Yeah, actually his profile is really cool. Alright. So, there you go.
And somehow get more in. No. Wait, actually, too much. Actually, that's pretty fun. Alright.
Right there.
And this is me. Hello.
And there's Chimmy.
This is awesome.
Chimmy Von Rieden.
Oh my god. This is so awesome. Alright, I'll let you get back to work, sir.
Alright.
Next up. So now I'm going to switch with Joe. Joe is going to be getting his caricature done.
It's Joseph, everyone.
Hello.
Say
It's
hello.
Joe Chico, everyone.
It's Joseph
Hi.
Chico.
You probably can't hear me because it's really hard to. Because you have to like talk to them.
Yeah. Yell at me, Joe. Yell at me. Alright. That's pretty good, actually.
Right there?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see, where is McGee? I name all of my markers. Like, that way I know which ones are good, which ones are bad. Can you turn a little bit more to your right? And then, I know you have to look at the screen, but
Yeah.
can you like do both?
Good job.
That's
Left.
cool.
A little bit.
So this one I'm gonna try to do freehand without doing undersketching. So that'll be interesting.
Okay. Go for it.
All right. So I guess what I'm first gonna do is do the same thing, but like just kind of make it up with my hands instead of actually drawing it out. So kind of get a visual of what I want to do with his face. Let's see. I think.
They want to know what color socks we're wearing.
White.
I'm wearing black socks.
Yeah.
Tim was wearing red socks. People were wondering about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was. Let's see. Okay. I think I got it. So I'm gonna start from his forehead and work my way down and then go back up with the hair. His fiery hair.
My Hades hair.
Here's Hades' hair. The first time I drew him, I gave him like the Hercules Hades hair, from the Disney movie. That was pretty funny.
Did you already ask a question about starting points for drawing caricatures?
I went over a little
What
bit.
did you anchor points?
Anchor points. So like you find what sticks out the most usually.
Okay, someone was asking about when's a good time to when's a good time to start going out and drawing people outside.
Oh, now?
Yeah.
I mean, after the stream, of course, but like
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Today and tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Z Leonard asks, "Are you getting uncomfortable, Joe?" No, because I usually sit with my back straight like this a lot.
the side glasses, one of the hardest things to draw.
I was like, I was wondering if you wanted me to take these off before we started.
No, it's already in, man. It's already in.
Tyler accepts the challenge.
Tigil asks, what are some of the worst things that happen during people sketching in public?
I almost started a fight once. That was exciting. Right, Tim?
Woo. Actually, that was a night to remember, though.
That was
awesome.
a pretty fun night.
Yeah.
Especially with that happening.
You could have taken them.
Yeah. Other worst days? Let's see.
Eve says, like, can I tell the expression is going to be awesome? Like, this is already totally Joe.
Fantastic. That's what I aim for.
But, like, oh man, I'm tired or bored or
A little combination of all things.
They want to hear the whole story.
Oh god. Can we talk about that?
Is it age appropriate?
Is it age
Actually,
appropriate?
yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, we've told it before on the stream.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave a synopsis.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, I guess if you want to, I don't know, tell it in your own light.
Oh, so we went to a pub one night, me, Tim, and another friend of ours, Pui, and we were all just drawing. I started drawing people, like, I just wanted to draw characters of random people at the bar, and I drew this one guy at the bar, and he was already pretty drunk, and by that time we had accumulated a whole table of like other people that we're just talking to. I have no idea why, but you know, it all worked out. But one of the guys that was hanging out with us was like, "Hey, do you want me to go give it to him?" Because I drew the dude, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, man, go for it." And then he gave it to him, and he kind of just, it seemed like the guy just kind of laughed it off at first, but then later he came to that guy and was like, "Hey, what gives you the right to make fun of people?" and from there, it digressed into this huge argument. And I was actually surprised that guy didn't say, "No, he's the one who drew you," but he didn't.
Hey, like took ownership.
Yeah, he just like, it was just so weird. And like they started kind of getting into it, and then their girlfriends kind of got into it, and like luckily like we broke it up before, you know, it got really bad. But that was an interesting night.
The
Night to remember.
reason why I laughed is because immediately after you said Pui's name, his name popped up in the chat.
Hi, Pui.
Hi, Pui.
Everyone's saying, yes, that hair, and oh wow, that hair is amazing. Oh my god, Joe's hair is so beautiful. Sir Vic says, man, that's sick, man.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Pui wants to know how it goes.
It goes
Well, Pui.
It goes pretty well.
I bet this looks really weird if someone is like doesn't know what is going on in the stream and they're just like watching, because it looks like I'm just sitting here upright, but then there's a hand moving and drawing. It looks really weird. Oh, I should have shaved today, dang it.
No, dude. Facial hair, I love drawing facial hair.
That's so awesome.
So funny.
always love watching caricatures be drawn.
Like, it's something I actually never even knew about caricatures until like I started working for it. Like, even when I like went to Six Flags when I was in high school, I never saw them. Didn't even know like what the word was. And now I do them.
James Rio asks, Tyler, I saw your website that you got your BFA at Illinois Institute of Art. How would you say your college learning helped prepare you for the future in concept work and caricatures, or do you think you've learned more after college? Your work is awesome, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Definitely learned more after college. I mean, the college was college. I don't know how else to explain it. It was just kind of there. All right, so that's that. I mean, I guess the nice thing about that college was I did learn how to use programs and stuff, but yeah, I don't know if they've ever asked you about your college education.
Oh yeah, I always talk about how I think for some people it's worth it because they want that structured guideline for what do I draw now, or this is the steps you take to learn Photoshop or whatever it might be. But nowadays in the modern era, you can learn anything online. And when I was in school, I would say DeviantArt and YouTube were the ones that I kind of went to the most, more so than I think my actual professors at the art school. So it's one of those things where I'm glad I went. I met friends that I'll have the rest of my life. But in terms of the quality of the education, I would say it was lower compared to the online resources that I was able to find from a Google search.
Yeah, like, if you go to college, you want to go to a really good college, like one with like really good history and like Noman or Cal Arts, like those schools like are legit.
Or
like,
Feng
Zhu's designs. You know, a school where like so many good artists and people that are well known came from. But if not, like everything is available online. But the nice thing about college is networking. Like that's the one, because it's like a lot easier to network in person than it is like online. Even though I mean you can easily network online somehow, but like I think it's a lot easier if you're all students and then you become friends and then you all go off and become like you work for Disney or you work for all this other stuff.
I would say that's the one really big standing out advantage to going to school versus not.
Like, I mean, me and Tim went to the same school, but we went different times. So I didn't even know Tim until...
Actually, Pui.
Well, I went to school with Pui. Pui's the one that connected me and Tim. He was like, hey, Tyler, me and my friend Tim, we're doing these live streams. You want to join us one night? I was like, okay. And then I met Tim, and I was like, he's all right.
He's a little below average.
He's okay. He's mediocre.
He's bearable.
I can withstand him.
Eve says, wow, coloring already, that was fast. And Christy McAfee says, my friend just walked in and said, oh my god, that jawline is sharper than my future. That's good.
That was good.
So yeah, this is what I usually do, is like really quick.
Or my hair looks like wildfire.
Yeah. Your hair. It's just everywhere.
Tidjo says, I love how Joe is secretly laughing at all the stupid stuff we were saying in this chat. I am laughing at the things that you guys are typing in chat, because I can immediately read them. The creative George asks, who is your inspiration?
For caricatures or just in general?
Probably both.
Probably both. Okay, so caricatures, like I was really inspired by Disney. Like if you ever look at Disney cartoons or Disney movies, Pixar movies, all those characters are caricatures of some in one way or another. Now that's what I really like about caricatures, is because you kind of develop that eye. It's like, so whenever I'm like at a con or just out and about, like I see somebody and they're super interesting, and then I'm like, I can use that later because
Actually, yeah.
like so yeah, since like my style is more cartoony and a little bit more exaggerated than like Tim's realistic style or Joe's like really cool nice stuff. So like, yeah, so mine's a lot more cartoony and more simplified. So that's what I kind of looked at. Is like Pixar movies, like The Incredibles is like one of my top because every character is a caricature.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so cool. Like even they had two of the old masters. I think I forget their names, but at the last scene, in one of the last scenes, let's go with blue for you. But yeah, those are my cartoony inspirations. Otherwise, like I mean, I love everybody. Who doesn't love Mooka? Scott Fisher is one of my favorite artists of all time, forever. Scott M. Fisher. He's just always killing it. Who else is good? Loish.
Yeah.
I really like New Age more than I'm more inspired by New Age artists than old masters these days. All right, there is Joseph.
It's so fast.
Signature. Boom. Do I need a?
Has it in frame?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so that's a little bit more of an example of like my quick sketches. I don't know how long that took, but.
So people can get a reference of
Hmm?
on the actual web camera.
Oh.
So it's like
You wanna hold it? There you go. Kiss him.
if we touch the time will explode. That's so awesome.
So yeah. What time is it right now?
It is 3:12.
3:12.
You hammer that one out.
Yeah, that's plenty of time.
You hammer that one out in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, without having to talk too much, it's really quick.
We found out Tyler's a hand talker.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to do with this.
I need the board at least. So, just throw it outside. There's Joseph again. Ah, my neck. Oh, it's so numb.
One more, Tyler.
Note, kids.
Power through
Do
it.
it.
Take note, kids. Do not leave your leg like crossed for too long. Otherwise, it feels like pins and needles. Oh, it's the worst. All right. So last up, we're gonna do a celebrity. Who is that celebrity, Tim?
Cara Delevingne.
Yeah. So right before we started streaming, I was doing some sketches. Can you see those?
Yeah.
I was just kind of doing some thumbnail sketches, but for what I'm actually going to do, we'll find out. But those sketches are to get like general idea of her head shape and all that fun jazz, and like what my key idea is going to be.
I'll type the name in the chat for you guys if you don't know who she is.
If you've seen, what has she? She's been in a few things. She was in
Paper Towns was
her
big one. She's going to be the sorceress or the enchantress in the.
Oh
Suicide
yeah,
Squad
that's
movie.
right. That's right. I forgot about that.
But she has a really interesting facial structure, like thick eyebrows, very model eyes, and
Yeah, her
sharp
eyes.
chin with like a rounded nose.
Her eyes to me is like she's always suspicious of other people, or whatever she's
Yeah.
looking at. She always like kind of squints. She has actually a pretty like square jawline, but it's also like very small. It's kind of weird. But she's bae. But
She's bad.
she's bae. So I'm gonna kind of figure it out as I do it. So I don't know can you see the Cintiq at all in that?
No.
Okay. So I have my computer right here, and I have a few photos of her up. But I like this one. I think I'm gonna base it off of.
Actually, I'm gonna. You keep going. I'm gonna turn the computer so you guys can see Tyler. 'Cause you don't need to see me right now.
Maybe they want to see you, Tim.
No.
Oh. They always want to look at you.
There we go.
All right. So. Fix that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll put this over here. So for characters, a good way to kind of start pushing your exaggeration is draw, redraw, 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 and just kind of keep pushing the shapes as far as you can before you lose likeness. So I'm going to kind of do that quickly here. So I'm going to start with like a... I always start with circles. I don't know if it's just like the classical way of drawing heads and stuff for me, but it just gives me the size and kind of where placement. I don't know why. The circle's kind of pointless if you think about it, but I just have to do it.
It's like a go-to.
Yeah, it's like I'll do the whole classic, like these are where the eyes are gonna lay and all that kind of stuff.
Actually, that's how I feel too. Like I draw a circle on all my stuff, but I really don't use
It's
it.
super weird. Like it's just
I think it's a visual aid.
Yeah,
that's
like,
all it is.
it's kind of annoying because it's like I don't really need this, but for some reason I just have to do it.
All right, you got a few questions here.
All right, cool.
Digital asks, if we commission you for a caricature and we live in Europe, do you send the actual drawing over or do we just get a scan?
I mean, you definitely get a scan. Sending it, I don't know how much.
I was gonna say, if you pay for shipping.
If you pay for shipping, I'll do it. I don't know how much that would be. I don't think it'd be that expensive since it's just paper.
Yeah, it'd just be a flat.
Yeah, so.
Or even a tube, actually.
Yeah, a tube probably be the best way.
Oh, sorry. The second question was from James. Do you guys have a place to go and do well-lit drawings from life models? From nude models. One of the hardest things after college is to find a place that has life figure drawings aside from just drawing people in public.
God, I would kill for a life drawing place around here.
I know. So we actually did research on, like, we live in Waukesha, and there's a downtown area that you would think it would have a life drawing studio because it's an artsy...
They have a bunch of art studios, and they have, like, drawing event things going on,
Yeah.
but none of them are life drawing. I mean, we can go to Milwaukee and, like, take the classes in there, but...
Actually, last year I drove about a half hour away to a life drawing session, and it was really, really nice, but I encourage you guys to look for them because life drawing, I think I learned, I don't know how you feel, Tyler, but I learned the most from life drawing.
Yeah, I mean, life drawing is, like, key, I think. I wish I did it more because, like I've done it in Chicago a couple times once over the past month, and, like, it felt so bad because, like, I felt like I was really bad at it because I haven't done it for so long, and it's so hard to get back into it.
Yeah. A lot of people say, hello, Tyler.
Hi, peoples. How you doing? How you doing? One of the key things I think I'm going to force on this is the eyebrows, like, going off of the face. So we can kind of see it there. I think I just kind of like that shape, or like that idea. Let's see. Raise her forehead a little bit.
Oh, so while you're doing that, someone's asking, did you talk or are going to talk about the contest? The contest will probably launch in early July. So if that is something that interests you, I would stay tuned for that. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, at CG Cookie we do seasonal contests and we offer up some pretty nice loot. And the last contest we did was the Battered Bunnies. And if you want, you can go to community.cgcookie.com and you can check out all the entries and the winners. We had the biggest turnout we've ever had for a contest, and it was a lot of fun to see. It was like the coolest contest I think we've had so far. So our next one will launch in early July. So I'll keep giving you guys updates and yeah, let you know when it begins. Someone said, Eve says, those eyebrows look like they're about to take off and fly away.
Maybe that's what I should do with them. Make them wings.
Alright. You didn't like that one? It was good.
Huh? No, that's fine. I'm just going to draw it, though.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, you're not going to use the underpainting.
No. So I'm gonna try this. We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna start from her little nose, I think. So I'm gonna do little thin, barely noticeable marks for her nose, because she has a very triangle bulb of her nose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that. Put the under. And then raise it up a little bit. So that'll be that's my anchor point, that's my base. So then going from there, I'm gonna start doing the eyes. Now she has very like wide eyes to me.
Yeah, she does.
So I'm gonna kind of push that a little bit more. But they're always, the thing is like I said, she's squinting, so she always looks suspicious of other people, of anything, everything.
Like a fox.
Like a fox. She doesn't trust. And they come out to like a point. And then, let's see. Put those bags.
Yeah.
She always has that model face going on.
Digital says, okay, next up, Tim is going to draw a caricature of Tyler. We won't have time. Look at that.
Oh man, no, it's cool. We here, just get a piece of paper,
Start doing it now.
Yeah, why not? But you have to beat me, like
in time.
In time.
Not physically.
I mean, that's completely out of the question. Like what?
Could you imagine me trying to beat you up? It'd be like, you'd just do a one punch down. I'd be done. I'm out. McKinney is in asks, how would you respond to someone who wants to commission you, but only if you work in an unfamiliar style?
Are you asking? I mean, it would depend on the style, really. Like, I've had people ask me for, like, a Cat in the Hat, Dr. Seuss style.
Oh, yeah.
I've done that before.
Seussical.
Yeah, like, I did that for my niece, actually, and then I think somebody asked me to do it once at the park.
Eve says, no excuses. Yesterday, you said tomorrow.
Sorry, I'll get right on that. Get those.
64-bit Dragon says, defeat him and take his line art power. If only that's how you could acquire skill sets. Oh no, that'd be horrible, actually.
Just do you have
Everyone
to like
would
eat the
just be
heart?
hitting
Do you
each
have to
other.
like eat the heart like to get their skills, or would you? Do you have to eat all of them?
Oh.
Do you have to eat them?
You have to eat them?
Like, or is it like Highlander where you just need to like chop off that glorious head of theirs?
Oh, this is a good question from the creative George. Is there some kind of human that is like the holy grail of caricature for you?
Oh. I think there's a couple. I like I call them hot dog like heads. So like what I do is I would do this for their head shape, and then like their chin, and then their ears and stuff, and whatever's going on here. But like I don't know why. I just I just find it so funny. Just hot dog heads.
I would say I see you have the most fun with really big, crazy noses.
I mean, noses are definitely like a fun thing to draw because they take up so much space on the face, and two, like it's kind of weird. Like noses are kind of fun to draw because they are such a most of the time like an odd shape or like a they're just
boxy.
They're
really
super
strong, bold.
You can get a lot of character out of a nose.
Yes.
Like yeah.
Very true.
I mean, I get a lot of compliments on the way I do eyes. But I feel like, I mean, this is just how I draw eyes, though. It's not like, they're not, like, they're just kind of easy, and that's just how I draw them now.
I am not is asking me if a second party ever picked up your swordplay IP, what would you like to see it as? A film, game, maybe a roller coaster ride? Or would you not want anyone else to work on it?
A roller coaster ride.
Yeah, I would love to see it as a roller coaster ride.
That'd be interesting. I don't know how that would be awesome.
But at the end, there is no end actually. You just fly off into eternity off a cliff.
It's so sad.
That's it. It's like your final dying. You see a sunset in the back.
Wow, way to go dark there.
How would I feel about a second party picking up my IP? I think as artists, we all feel very protective of our original stories and the work that we do. So I think I would feel that very intensely with swordplay, but if they allowed me to be on set or have creative input or be one of the writers, I guess, helping out, then I wouldn't mind seeing it as a movie or a game, but that's definitely like fantasy for me. I don't see it more as a reality. If I can get it as a book, I think for me that's like a dream come true.
I feel like at least the story and the characters would be a good video game more than a story or more than a movie.
Yeah,
at least
it would
to me.
Be a game.
Because like you'd have all these different characters you can play as and find their story.
Yeah,
I think that'd be kind of cool.
My leg. Oh, you got 10 more minutes.
Okay,
knock it out. Knock it out.
Easy.
All right, let's see here. Tigel says, "Eat the heart. You've been watching the movie Stardust too much."
Huh.
Eve loves that you calls them hot dog heads.
Good.
It's so funny she can't handle.
She just can't even.
Oh, I like this question. Have you ever tried drawing yourself? And if you have, was it different from trying to draw other people? How did it go for you? Or how did you go about it?
Oh yeah, like actually the signature that I put on like square readers at like coffee shops and stuff is always like a character in my head.
Oh yeah.
And it usually looks like this. That's usually how I sign it. This is
I like that it fits Kara's hair right now.
Yeah, right.
So you can see her hair through the paper. That's
me
what you look like with a wig.
with a beautiful mane.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I've done a few digital paintings of myself, and I don't know if you can find them online anymore. I think I took them all down because they're old. But
Oh, up just a tad.
Oh, sorry.
Perfect.
Cool. But yeah, I have like since I go to that convention that I was talking about earlier, I do have like a collection of like caricatures of myself.
It's true. I've seen them.
Yeah, like I usually put them on a wall. I just have a wall of me. My shrine, if you will.
Oh, for people that are just joining in, Tyler is drawing Cara Delevingne, the model / actress.
/babe.
/bae.
Alright. So that's that.
Digital says, well, he's drawing Tim. Isn't that obvious? I'll type it in the chat. Her name, I know it's kind of one of those hard last names to hear out.
Yeah, I didn't know how to spell it. Luckily, Google corrected me.
Delevingne is definitely
Delevingne.
a hard one to sound out. Pui said, like J.K. Rowling, she had a lot of creative control over the production of the movie, which is how it turned out so close to the original book series as it did. It is very hard to have so many people interpreting your IP, especially during a huge team in movie productions. Yeah, like I love movies, but I can definitely understand where the director either has to take cuts or even with the story itself, guide it so that it caters more toward a movie environment, because some things are better on paper or in a video game, but then when you translate into a movie, it might not be that same impact that it had. So I can understand the cuts that would have to be made. Oh, oh, never mind. You're good. You're good.
Sorry, I had to get a certain angle. So I'm gonna put a little bit of makeup on her.
Oh yeah.
Gotta get that.
Oh, you did her eye perfect. How one's a little closer to the center than the other one.
It's super. Like, there's a lot of subtleties to like drawing faces, or especially getting likeness. There's certain things that you don't even think about, but when people see them, they're like, "Oh my god, that's like," and you're like, that's just how your face is. I don't know. But
yeah.
like, there's a lot of like nuances, and like, that's I guess what the difference is. Like, since I've known you for so long, I pick up on a lot of nuances about your face.
The creative George is asking short biography ?
Oh, so my name is Tyler Johnson, also known as Sketch Geek. You can find me on all social media at Sketch Geek, but self-promotion aside, so I grew up in a small town in Illinois, lived there until I moved to Chicagoland suburbs, where I went to school, which was the Art Institute of Illinois, Schaumburg. Did my time there, left, found a job at Six Flags Great America doing caricatures. Reason I did that is because I was like, one, I didn't have a job at the time and no real prospects, and two, I thought it would be like, I got to the point where I was like, I'm just gonna try things, just without any, like, especially if they're new experiences. So I was like, you know what? I've never done caricatures before. I'll give it a try. And then it turns out I really liked it, and I really drifted a lot to it. And that was mostly because like I went to school for animation, and what I was saying before was caricatures applies a lot of the same principles as animation to, drawing people. And so like I really gravitated towards it. And I did that for about 4 years, I think, working at that company, and then I kind of did it on my own since then. I mean, I've done a bunch of freelance. I do freelance work now for board games, but back then I was pretty much only doing caricatures for a while. I just really enjoyed the environment, and it was just a lot of fun. Like, I met a lot of really nice people, a lot of good friends, and it was just good. And then at one point I was an assistant manager for a couple years, and working for the company that I was working for, called Commons Art Shops. And then I kind of decided that I needed to go back to, because I got to a point where I was like, there's nothing really more, it's just one of those moments where you're like, it's time for me to move on. So I started working for a small indie company in Chicago for video games for about a year and a half. And then that, unfortunately, the company went under. But after that, I got an opportunity to go to Korea and draw caricatures there for 3 months. So I went and did that, and that was a lot of fun because Korea is a beautiful place. And I wish I had more time. Like, I had the option of doing 3 months or 6 months. I thought 3 months would be enough, but I kind of wish I had done it a little bit longer. But it was also kind of good because at that point, doing live caricatures was getting kind of stale for me. Because it was just like having to do things a certain way, and it was just, I've done it for so long, it was just really tiring at that point. So then when I got back to America, I decided to go full freelance, and that's kind of what I've been doing since. Like, I really love board games, and so I've been doing a lot of work for indie game developers this year and last year.
Actually, you have a question about board games.
Yes.
From James Frio says, Tyler, what are some of your favorite board games? Do you ever go to any game expos like PAX or Gen Con?
Definitely going to Gen Con this year. I think like a lot of us are.
Yeah.
Actually, like I wanted to go last year, but I forgot what came up. I think I had to work, and I couldn't make it, and it was really disappointing. I would like to go to PAX some year, maybe not this year. Let's see, because I have the game I was working on a game earlier this year and late last year that got funded on Kickstarter this year. So I've been working on that pretty much for the past few months, which is almost complete. It's called Ghostel. But I'm hoping that to show kind of my work on that, because I'm really happy with what I did for them. But yeah, my favorite games, as far as art goes, like the artist for Seasons is one of my favorite looking games. It is a beautiful game. It's called Seasons. It's by Lillibud. But the artist is called, it's like Nayade is his handle.
Weird one. Yeah.
It's a very weird, I think he's French. Well, his actual name isn't that complicated. I forget what it is though. But he's one of my favorite like board game artists right now. Just because it's cartoony, but it's also like really well rendered, and it's just just love it. I mean, of course, Dominion is one of my favorites to play. Catan's all right. Catan. Catan. I know.
Just doing that because I'm here.
Yeah. That's Tim's favorite game. So
I do love it. Actually, I really like Seasons now.
yeah, I want to get we should get the expansion sometime soon, because like that game did kind of get stale for me, just because it's the same.
Yeah. Or Tokaido.
Tokaido is it's a really quick and like smooth game. Like there's no real conflict in it. You're just kind of doing your own thing.
Very passive.
Yeah, but it's a nice game. It is kind of weird though. Like whenever I show people that game, like they don't like it at first, because it's not like a traditional game.
Yeah.
And so like they don't know how to handle it. But then like after playing halfway through it, everybody kind of starts getting into it, and you start understanding the strategy to it.
I think that you realize it's only like a 20 or like a 30-minute game.
Yeah, it's
okay.
super short.
Like it looks like it'd be like this big Dungeons and Dragon game, but it's not.
Yeah, that and Tsuro is another really fun, quick game. Tsuro is a nice.
It's like a 5-minute one.
There's a couple games that I really want to play, but I haven't had a chance yet. And that's like Small World, or what was that other game that I really wanted to play? Oh, Lords of Zidit. That was another game. That's another game by the same artist and the same company. It's actually in the same world as Seasons. You know, I can go on and on about board games.
Zionard says, yeah, Seasons is really nice. And then asked, have you seen Plaid Hat Games Ashes?
Oh, Plaid Hat?
Plaid
Yeah,
Hat
that game looks beautiful. That's actually the artist. There's a few artists for that. But yeah, that game is gorgeous.
He followed up with, not the art for Dominion, though.
No. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
So many times we've talked about, let's just make our own version of Dominion.
Draw our own
Because
cards.
it's not like, there's some good art there, but then
no
there's
offense
some,
to those artists, but there's some that
like, it just doesn't fit.
it doesn't fit.
They don't have a clear art direction.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some of it is just bad, obviously, but some of it just doesn't fit.
Tigel asks, Tyler, have you ever gone to cons overseas, and would you ever want to?
Are you inviting me to Australia or to
Belgium.
Belgium? I would actually like to go to. There's a few conventions I can't think of right now, but there are some that I'd like to go to Europe for.
I do think a bunch of us are planning next year to go overseas, especially to Europe for some conventions.
There's some really there's a big gaming convention that I think either just happened or happened.
Oh, E3.
Oh yeah. You're right. No, yeah, but I think it just happened in the UK. I think because like the guys that I'm doing that board game for just got back from it.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting a lot of board game stuff. I'm sure you love this. Okay.
I will be glad to.
So I Am Not says The Haunted House on the Hill is one of the best board games I've played.
Oh yeah. I think I played that, or at least watched a playthrough of it.
Christy Mac. Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh no, go ahead.
Because there's a few. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
Christy McAvoy or McAville says Love Letters is a quick card game that's fun.
Yeah,
the one that we played?
Yeah, we played it.
Okay, yeah.
It's super. Yeah, that's a super fun game. Super quick.
Yeah, it's a quick one.
I'm so glad there's so many board gamers on here.
Yeah, James Frio says Small World is a lot of fun, and they
Yeah.
just picked up Codenames and definitely recommend it.
Yeah, like I've heard of code names, but I haven't looked into it yet.
Oh, and also, have you seen the work by Aiello? The art those guys make for their games is amazing.
Yeah, they actually published the Lillibud games, I think.
Oh, okay. Then that,
yeah, like when I was searching for the artists for Seasons, I guess they're one of the partners, Aiello, of Lillibud.
okay.
I think that's how it was. I can't remember. It was something like that.
James Frio says, or wait. I don't know, Eve says, haha, Tim and Tyler, you're all invited to Gamescom in Germany if you're interested.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's called Essen. James Frio says, is that the one?
That's one of the big ones.
Is that the one in October?
Maybe. I don't remember when it is.
Because next year, nothing's set in stone yet, guys, but it looks like next year a bunch of us will probably be going to FAX in Belgium, and then the weekend after going to, it might be Essen, but it's a convention in Germany, so we're going to try to hit up
And I have
both.
a friend in Germany that I'd like to see again.
And I've never been to Europe, and I've been dying to go there. Zynerd says, James Frio, or at James Frio, codename is fantastic, and Aiello's Welcome to the Dungeon is really fun, looks great.
I have that game, but I haven't played it yet. Like Welcome to the Dungeon.
Oh, is that the one with
Like those really nice, like just the cards and
yes.
plates. And like, yeah, I just got it because of the art style. Like I love it. Games like that, like the art styles like that, just always catch my eye.
And then McKinney says, still a fan of the old Clue game myself. Gotta love Colonel Mustard.
Colonel Mustard.
Oh, and someone says, I believe it's pronounced the same as yellow. As I'm like,
Yellow?
Aiello.
Oh yeah. I don't know. That's good to know, actually.
James says, full disclosure, I used to work for a game company where I live, so I fell in love with board games.
Oh, cool. No, I mean, that's awesome.
Oh, great color for her.
The green.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
she
compliments
just
the-
looks like a green.
Yeah, I agree.
Get a little. Glad this became like a discussion of board games, which I can talk for days.
Who would have thunk?
Man,
A
that's
stream
crazy.
that Tyler's on, we talk about board games. Oh, that looks great though.
Anything else I'm missing? Another good exercise, guys, if you want to get into characters, is the 3-second test, or the 3-second challenge, where you only look at somebody for 3 seconds and then try to draw them. Because, like, that's what we did for training when we would train our new artist. It's more of like a passive practice, but, like, we would say, when somebody walked by, we would ask them, all right, now, how would you draw that person? Or what stuck out to you about that person? And they'd say, like, big nose, and they'd give all these, basically the 3 defining features of a person you can pick up in 3 seconds. Is the challenge. Or
That's
the
a good
idea.
challenge. People are saying the terminal goal says chess is good too. Flamaro says I like Scrabble. Board game life. Zyhard says I think it's cement or Kemet. Kemet. Looks
Okay.
good. Great too.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of that one. And then Flamaru says, I own Munchkin and Super Dungeon Explorer.
Never heard of Super Dungeon Explorer before.
The Terminal Glow says, that is an interesting challenge to try. I'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't sign mine.
Oh, yeah. Guess.
Get your red back up.
Okay. Here's Tim again.
Where's Joe's? I'll get all three. Oh, here it is. Get kind of like a final shot.
If anybody's interested or curious about what my signature is, it's Tyler James Johnson.
Oh, I always wondered why the other J.
Yeah, or it looks like an L, but I have to like write it right to make it look like a reverse J. But yeah, there's.
We'll do one at a time again.
Okay, so here is Joseph
All right.
Chico. There we go.
Your left. Yeah.
Okay, here's Joseph Chico. Profile. Fiery hair. And Tim Von Rieden.
Hey.
Little boy.
Just graduating high school.
Just graduating high school.
Looking
Fresh.
chipper and optimistic about a future.
And then Cara Delevingne.
Very nice. Everyone is saying good work, Tyler.
Thanks, guys.
That was fantastic. Alright. You can come back over here.
Alright, cool.
You can give your leg a
Oh,
rest.
God. How about...
Alright. You can actually hear me now. There we go. Alright, so thank you guys for coming to the CG Cookie concept live stream. As I said in the beginning, we do these every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Time, and we will post what we do the next week in the bottom right corner of the stream. So next week, we will bringing on one of our new art friends. His name is Sean Price. He is traveling from New York. Oh, you can see my socks. That's awkward. These are my wonderful red socks that I didn't even realize I was wearing until my shot. Anyways, he's traveling from New York, and he's going to be talking about doing illustration works. His background is actually as a tattoo artist, so he's going to talk a little bit about how he was able to carry over some of what he learned as a tattoo artist into his illustration work. And all of these traditional streams that we're doing are in lieu of a traditional course that I've been working on the past few weeks. And I actually got some big strides the last 3 days. Oh, could you grab the 3 drawings really quick? They're in the basement on my black desk.
Oh.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I should have brought them up before the stream started.
One of the comments, Tim is jailbait.
Thank you, I think. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm so loud. I'm so used to yelling now that we just were yelling for so long. And you know what? I'm going to turn off my camera so you don't see the... There we go. Okay, so expect to see some cool things next week from Sean. And then the week after, we'll do another traditional stream. And I'm pretty sure the course itself will be released sometime after that. And along the same time that we release that, we will have our contest out. So I know a few of you are excited for that.
I just brought them all up.
Oh, thank you. Actually, could you hold them to the camera? So I'll give you guys a sneak peek of the drawings I've been working on.
Which ones would you like?
All of them. So those 2, and then this one.
All right, cool.
All right, so let me turn on the IPVO again. Hello to my red sock.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, the first one. So all of these I recorded, and we're doing a time-lapse video where I talk something specific about the drawing. It's not so much about like how I go about it, because I have tutorials before that will be like about shading and line art and the differences between like lost line and hard edge and how to create contrast, all that. But these talk about more of, I think, the biggest struggle that artists go through, and it's getting motivated or inspired. So this one talks about getting inspired from a theme that's known, or I have a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. it's something that everyone has an idea of because they've heard it once or twice before. But it's the idea of taking your own spin at it. So this is gluttony, or at least my interpretation of it. And I talk in the video about how you take this well-known theme and then apply your own influences and style onto it so that it becomes original in its own sense while still being based off of something that is already established. And then the second one, this one talks about being inspired from personal motivations or life experiences. And essentially, it was kind of funny when I did a quick sketch of it. I was like, I don't know if my boss will like me drawing this little boy holding a pig, but essentially it's the idea of I've been a vegetarian for a year and I wanted to reflect that in a piece. And it's the idea that you can pull from your own personal life into your drawings and like inject it into your drawings. Because often people like to see the personality of the artist being included in the drawings themselves. So that's what I'll be talking about with that one. And then last night I was able to record this one with all these flower pixie heads, and it's the idea of, or at least the tutorial talks about forcing inspiration. So all of these flowers are in my backyard and front yard, and it's the idea of walk around your yard, go somewhere, and start seeing things that are ordinary and make them extraordinary. Because when you start to kind of develop a visual eye that starts to see things that might just be more passive or whatever to a normal eye, you start to see it in a more creative fashion, and all of a sudden, everywhere you go is inspiring. It doesn't have to be a mountain range or a big city or travel to Europe or Australia. While those are like obvious inspirations, I think if you start to see inspiration in what's familiar, then all of a sudden your ideas will start flowing a lot quicker. So that is what we have in store. Okay, thank you, Tyler. Wonderful holding job.
I did it.
You did it. So we'll be here next week with Sean, and thank you guys for coming to this live stream with Tyler Johnson.
Hey.
And if you liked his work and what he does, you can follow him at SketchGeek, and that's on Instagram and website.
Instagram, website, Twitter,
Facebook. The social medias, clumped into one.
All of them.
So thank you guys for coming, and if you came late to the stream, we post all of our streams to YouTube on the day after, so tomorrow I will be uploading it to YouTube. And thank you guys again for coming.
Yeah, thanks for the questions, guys. It was awesome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And then the awkward.
Yeah, right, because now I'm like hitting things.